Hey, it's Dr. J here, HealthWorks Chiropractic, and just wanted to do a video review while I'm driving out to my second office, and on the Thrive team, on Jason, on Clay. I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate what they've done for us, for me personally, us as a team, as an organization. They just know what the hell to do, and if you don't, these are the people to get to. They're going to teach you how to run an organization, how to market, how to run a business efficiently so you don't have to be there all the time. And I can't speak highly enough of them. And if you're struggling with business and you need someone to, either get you over the hump, get you out of the red, get you where you want to go from a standpoint of personal freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, I cannot stress enough how good they are at what they do. So, Clay, thanks. Jason, thanks. You guys are the bomb. The whole team. Jonathan, appreciate you guys. You guys have made a huge impact in my life and my ability to do business. And I just want to say thanks. And anyone else out there who is struggling and needs someone to help them, these are your people. I promise you. All right. Thanks.
Gosh, man, time flies. I'd say right around 4 or 5 years ago, I just kind of felt like we were stuck and my wheels weren't moving and I had this goal and I just didn't really know how to get there. So you guys actually helped me with that. And I reached out to you guys. We started our relationship. We started our coaching sessions, and you guys helped me build a lot of the systems that we have now. But Clay, had I not actually sat down and took the time and the energy to reach out to you and then set aside time every single week to actually work on the specific goal of scaling Window Ninjas, then it would have never happened and we wouldn't have it wouldn't have come to fruition like it is today.
Gabe Salinas, welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I am wonderful, Clay. I'm glad to be here with you today.
And just to give people a little context, how long have we worked with you in your business, sir?
A little over 3 years, Clay. We've been together for a little bit of a journey now.
And I think we picked the best of times and the worst of times to work together. I mean, it's like right at the peak of the geopolitical craziness. That's when we started working with you. But you've continued to grow. What kind of growth have you seen over these past 3 years? Just so the listeners know that you do have, in fact, a business that can navigate through difficult times.
Well, we have over doubled our business here at Window Ninjas since working with you. I actually went back and looked through our numbers, and I looked at some of our goals that we had set in the original conversation that I had with your team. And we have surpassed my original number that I wanted to hit with you guys. And I was quite shocked at how, I won't say easy, but systematic it was for us to be able to get to where we wanted to be. So information is key. Making sure you're following the process when it comes to marketing accurately and repetitively is something that we do over here. And we have really, really, really scaled it to the next level. And you know what, Clay? You guys are the ones that taught us that in the beginning, and we have followed through with that for over the past, 4 or 5 years now that we've been working together. We have spent the last 7 years scaling this business, and we have these checklists in place with the help from your team, Clay, and it just creates success for all of our customers, all of our franchisees, me here in my corporate office, all of our call center employees, our accounting department, all of our leadership teams. I mean, it really, really, really solves a lot of problems. And so as opposed to trying to reinvent the wheel, man, just grab a checklist that somebody has already taken the time and the energy to develop for you, use it, and then master it, and then reap the benefits with the revenue that you're going to earn from doing those specific things that are on that checklist. It's super powerful, Clay. It's the best thing. I mean, I know that I can come into this office whenever I want, whether if I want to be here at 7 o'clock in the morning or if I don't want to be here at 7 o'clock in the morning. I know that I'm going to have people that are going to be here doing the specific tasks that everybody in this operation needs them to specifically do. Having good key people is important. Are you going to lose some of your key people? Absolutely. But if you are always looking for great individuals, great people, and encourage them to come work for you. And then you teach them the systems and you teach them what their specific job is. And you let them know how important they are. Clay, well, first of all, thank you for having me again today. We've been doing this for quite a while. I've been working with you for quite a while. Anybody out there that's looking for a coaching system, I would definitely give Clay a call.
You could be anywhere doing a lot of different things, but you chose to be here.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrivetime show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zillner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Mr. Clyde started from the bottom, and now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom.
Josh, on today's show, we're going to give tips to the listeners out there about knowing your numbers and knowing your numbers with OxyFresh's Matt Klein.
Yes, sir.
And I snuck in a little tip, a little pro tip on how to procreate within the context of marital bliss.
And your fascination with Carmelo Anthony.
Grab the duct tape and mentally prepare yourself for yet another mind-expanding knowledge bomb from America's #1 business coach, Clay Clark.
Yes, 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 and yes. Matt Klein, Denver, Colorado. How are you, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. How's everybody over there?
Josh with Living Water Irrigation, Dateline, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Jinx America, Thrivetime Show, Dojo of Mojo. How are you, sir?
I'm well. Thank you, Clay.
Well, we're talking today about knowing your numbers, and if for a second, I wanna, Matt, can I be honest with you? Usually, I'm just totally bogus and braggadocious and totally off the rails. But can I be honest with you for a second?
Sure.
I think immediately that when I say we're going to talk about knowing your numbers, nobody wants to listen anymore.
Well, they should.
But they should, and I want to ask you this because we have just booked Tilman Feritta to be on the Thrivetime show. He owns the Houston Rockets. He owns the Bubba Gump restaurants. He owns the Golden Nugget casinos. He owns Landry's. He owns just a lot. He's doing well for himself there. And you know, with a net worth of $4 billion, he owns the Rainforest Cafe. Have you ever heard of the Houston Rockets basketball team there? Have you heard of these guys there, Matt Klein?
I have, yeah.
Really?
Shuffled a little bit this year, so.
So what do you think about their new acquisition of Russell Westbrook?
I think it's exciting. Well, it's one of those wait and kind of see things.
Do you think it's going to implode into an epic
There's only
violence?
one ball on the court. It's going to be interesting to see how they play together. But
do you think they are going to play together, or will they just rip the ball in half?
Shoot a lot. Well, they may not play together, actually. They just may, individually take everyone one-on-one, and that might work, actually.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to I appreciate you, by the way, pontificating about the game of basketball. Matt Klein did play Division I basketball. Matt, did you play all 4 years, or did you play a third of a year or half a year? Or did you actually get playing time?
I played poorly for 4 years.
Did you get playing time?
I kind of just ran around the court for about 4 years.
For the listeners out there that don't know much about you, can we go on YouTube right now and see footage of you playing?
They might see me on ESPN getting dunked on a few times.
Well, what do we need to
that
type
might
in?
be the only thing that made it online.
What do we need to type in? We type in Matt Klein. What college did you play for?
I played for the University of Northern Colorado.
University of Northern
Small Division
Colorado.
I.
Okay,
Yeah.
Northern Colorado. All right, let me pull this up here. I'm looking it up here. Let me type in basketball, maybe. Maybe that's what I need to type in. Because, your career was largely
You got to go deep.
You got to go deep?
I'm about a decade removed here.
No, yeah, we got to go deep. I mean, this thing is your life was largely pre-YouTube, And so, let's see. Is it you? No, that wouldn't be. It was a year ago. Throws down a ridiculously powerful posterizing dunk. That wasn't you. But you could dunk, Matt. Could you dunk?
I never dunked in a game.
You could dunk,
It'd be
though.
hard pressed to say if I could consistently dunk. I'm not very tall.
How tall are you?
If you're not very tall and you don't jump very high, it's hard to get up there.
Wait a minute. Could you? How tall are you?
I'm about 5'10".
You played basketball at the D1 level, and did you ever get a dunk? I mean, in like a high school game?
Nope, never dunked in a game.
Really?
I could dunk in practice sometimes, but I couldn't palm a ball.
Oh, really? Well, that's going to take the
The
fun right out
cards
of
are
this
really
conversation.
stacked against me,
Okay. Well, I'll tell you
Can't
what.
palm ball short, can't jump.
You
run kind of
Did
fast.
you play with long hair?
Nope, I never had long hair.
You were rocking the Steve Nash look. Now, how many points a game did you
Nope.
average during high school, your senior year and junior year? Tell me. Give me the stats.
Junior year was about 20, 21. Senior year was about 29.
29 points a game your senior year. Now, were you shooting like an unbelievable three ball? Were you really good at like the scoop shot? Were you doing layups? Did you have the old man hook? What was working for you?
My thing was just dribble down, and before the defender got to you, shoot like 3 feet behind the line. And then if I made the first one, I knew I was going to be good the rest of the game. If not, then I would just bulldog my way to the rim.
Do you remember?
I had a little mental game I played with myself all the time. If I made the first one, you better watch out because I may not miss. But after that, if I didn't make the first one,
He played a mental game with himself. Remember, don't play with yourself, but play a game with yourself if you want
but if
to
you
talk.
are, make sure it's mental.
Okay, now I want to ask you, what was your record your last year? What was your record your last year in high school?
In high school, oh gosh, I don't even know.
What about college?
We went to the state. We didn't go to the championship. I think we were in like the Sweet 16, maybe.
Okay,
something like that.
What was your? How many
I
points per
remember that
game?
game because I fouled out in like the first half.
Oh, really?
I had like
Wow.
4 offensive fouls at half court.
Wow.
It was quite the.
You're
it was
really
quite
charging
the,
a lot there, man. You gotta calm that down.
controversy, if you will.
Now you just so we're clear. You again averaged 29 points a game your senior year, and how much your junior year?
About 20, 21. My dad says my junior year I had a girlfriend, and then my senior year I didn't. And he just shrugged his shoulder because I told you.
There it is. So
I don't know.
So
I
Matt,
don't know if there's any fact behind that, but
so Matt Klein,
Yeah,
there's
it was.
3 things I want to teach the listeners out there. 1, if you want to take your basketball game to the next level, do not have a girlfriend. 2, don't play with yourself. And 3, know your numbers.
It's a great segue. Great segue.
All right, Matt knew his,
dedicate that first one to Papa Klein.
no, Matt knew his numbers when he played basketball. He just told his numbers. Now, Tilman Feritta, who's going to be on the show here soon, he just wrote this new book called "Shut Up and Listen." I have a part 2 of the book coming out called "Shut Up When You're Talking to Me." But his book is called "Shut Up and Listen: Hard Business Truths That Will Help You Succeed." And he writes here, one overriding factor determines whether any business is destined to rise to the next level or struggle endlessly. Your numbers. This is something I emphasize not only in my own businesses, as I like to say, ask me anything about my businesses and I'll be able to answer you, but to entrepreneurs of all sorts, you need to know your numbers. You need to know them cold. If you ask me why I'm successful, I usually break it down into 4 reasons. 1, I know my numbers. 2, I understand operations. 3, I know the developmental side, how to grow your business. And 4, I change with the times. So, Matt, I want to talk today about OxyFresh, the OxyFresh franchise with 400 locations now all over this great country. And I want to talk about what numbers do you need to know every week to be a successful OxyFresh franchise operator. And then I want to ask you, how successful operators fight through the monotony of having to do the same repetitive tasks over and over in exchange for financial freedom and time freedom. Talk to us about these.
Yeah, so and I think there's a few things when it comes to OxyFresh that are very simple to track, and these are the ones I feel like have the most impact on your business. And I broke them down into a few different categories, and then at the end of it, I want to talk about one that I actually went through in the last 3 months that has had a very profound impact on my business and how much money my employees make and what we can produce in a month by a very simple change that even though I work from home office, we were still able to do. So make sure that I get to that because I think it's very important.
Awesome.
And it does segue into it.
Yeah.
However, so let's talk about a few of them, right? And the easy one is you got to know what you're paying for when it comes to marketing, right? There's so many small companies out there that they have their marketing program or lack thereof, right? But everyone's spending a certain amount of money on marketing. If you're not, you better start, right? And the spend is what you first want to do. The tracking of it, right? It's with OxyFresh specifically, I'm very fortunate to work with a company that puts emphasis on exactly this, knowing where you're putting your money.
Got it.
So if you have 5 different marketing campaigns and you're spreading that money, your marketing budget out through them, you need to know what your high performers are. You need to know how to actually make those high performers even better, right? You also need to know what you're not really proficient at. So if you have a marketing campaign and you're spending $500 and you're getting $500 back, if you don't know that and you just assume that it's doing well, you're going backwards, right? That money is not actually helping you. So you're actually putting your money into a well that's not going to give you a very good return. So you need to know what gives you the best return. You need to be able to track what actual marketing is doing for you. And the nice thing is when we actually have the scheduling center or online scheduling platform, every single job across the country that's booked is tracked through a coupon code. It doesn't matter where the job came from. Every single
Wait,
stop.
stop. No, stop. There's too much good information. We have to stop. It's too good. It's so good it's bad. So good. Look at it. It's like how Michael Jackson said it's bad, but it was good. That's how good it is. It's so good it's bad. It's so good. It's like, sick is like means healthy. That's sick means it's great. You're so good it's bad. I'm trying to get it together here. You're saying that if I buy an OxyFresh franchise, that you sick freaks in Denver, Colorado, track where all of the deals come from each and every week? Are you saying you guys track?
Absolutely. And not every week, every single minute.
Sick.
Because to book a job, you have to have a coupon code.
Oh.
So if it came from a Valpak, boom, BP 0700719, right? That's a Valpak for July of 2019. Boom, you know it. You can pull a report, know exactly how that comes. Importantly for that one is people might actually in 3 years pull out of their junk drawer a Valpak from July 2019. That still should count towards that budget, right? But if you don't know where it's coming from, and you don't have the specific campaign for that, so the Valpak's a very easy one to track because you can mail them out individually whenever you want to, and you can associate a code to that specific one, right? When it comes to Facebook ads, and you do a targeted marketing Facebook campaign, use a unique code because if you spent $500 on that and you got $1,500, $2,000, $2,500 back, then you need to know that you can repeat that.
Repeat
and make
that
it better. So the next time you get $4,000, $5,000 back.
Yes. Now
you have to have the numbers. You have to be able to track it.
Now let me tell you, things are so sick at OxyFresh right now. They're so good. They're so good. They're so bad. So great. It's so sick. I've got audio of your call center taking phone calls, and it could be audio. Dr. Z's out of town, and so I said, is it possible, Z, that you could just record, give me some audio or something, and to kind of fill in when you're gone? And he said, Clay, I'll see what I can do. This is the audio file I found. It's I don't know whether it's labeled sick, so let me cue it up and just see if this is audio of your call center and just how sick it really is right now. Let me cue it up real quick. Let me see if this is the right audio. I think it is. I don't know. Seems kind of quiet so far. I don't know if this one's working. Oh, there it is. Let me see. No, that's not it. That's not it. Oh, well, that was. I think I found it. I think I found the audio there. Oh, wow, it is. That is the call center. Wow. It's so sick there in Denver. What's going on up there? You guys have like swine flu or something? How do you track every time?
Yep, every time. You cannot put a marketing campaign out there without a sick tracking number.
Okay, now, so numbers. You said, 1, we have to know what we're paying for in terms of marketing. I got it. 2, we want to track what marketing is working. What else? What other numbers do we need to track?
Yep. So once you actually get jobs on the schedule and you start growing it, right, the next thing is your performance. You want to be able to track your actual technician's performance. Because if you don't know how your customers are doing with actual feedback, it's very hard to manage that situation, right? So if you have 3 or 4 technicians, you need to be able to segment each one of them individually on what they are doing. Right? You don't want to have you want to have a blanket of your whole business just so you kind of have a gauge on it. But it's more important to know how your individual employees are operating their day, right? So being able to track customer satisfaction with OxyFresh specifically, we actually automate this for you. So every single night, once that customer's been done, all across the country, everyone that day gets a survey sent to them. We get an incredible click-through rate on these, right? And we actually let these customers know that they're going to be getting it, and if they can please let us, give their feedback. Because what we do on the back end is we take that information. It's already categorized through our scheduling software to know what technician did it, right, what the job is and all the information on it. But then it has a running tally of that technician's customer satisfaction score all time. You can actually pull a segment of period of time, whether it's a month or a quarter, and figure out how they performed that quarter. You can look at individual comments from customers in that period of time. Maybe they had a bad month, and see what their actual problem was, right? And I always use the time of the job, or being on time is what I mean to say. So if you know that your customer's doing well and he had 100 reviews and 3 of them were bad and all 3 of them are because he can't show up on time, you have a time management issue, and I've said that before. That is going to be managed by you as the owner. But if you don't know that because you're not tracking your customer satisfaction scores, you're just going to start guessing. If you're guessing at that, then you're going to have a weird relationship with your technician, and it's not going to work out right. So having real numbers on a percentage basis of performance and being able to track what their actual flaws are so you can help them as an owner make their job better so they can be more efficient and make more money.
I was doing a Google search.
Customer satisfaction is a huge one.
I was doing a Google search earlier today, and OxyFresh now has 163,000 reviews based upon you guys being insistent on tracking feedback. I mean, you don't get 163,000 reviews without somebody following up relentlessly every time. And for your franchisees, you largely automate that. Now, you might say, Clay, it's dangerous to automate feedback. Oh, it is dangerous, but what's neat is you guys make it right. So if you actually find out that one of your techs showed up late or something bad happened, you guys really do your best to fix the situation, and there's some accountability there. And I would just say, do a Google search right now for carpet cleaning quotes. If you're listening right now, do a search for carpet cleaning quotes, and you're going to see that OxyFresh is the world's highest rated carpet cleaning company, which is sick. And Matt, I've got audio. The call center got a little messy there, but I've got some audio of this is apparently a conversation that Rob was having with Chris when they discovered you inched ahead of 163,000 reviews. So this is my understanding, is Rob walks up and says, hey, Chris, are you aware we're over 163,000 reviews? And I tried to do, like Elon Musk has Neuralink, where they're putting a little thread size electrode into the human brain, and it's trying to connect humans to AI, kind of freaky stuff. I've got a similar technology for miking the human body. And so I believe this is the audio from a conversation, a very thoughtful conversation between Chris and Tolik. What's Chris's title right now? Is he the vice president? Is he the pool boy? What's his title there at OxyFresh?
He is upgraded from pool boy to vice president.
Vice president, and he's talking to Rob. What's Rob's title up there at OxyFresh?
So Rob is our director of cleaning systems, but he's also our internal franchise coach.
Yeah.
So basically, when you start the franchise, you go through all the training. Rob is going to essentially sit down with you, and he's going to be your first line of defense. He's going to go through everything, a whole checklist of onboarding, vendor relations, call center training, all that. So he is the liaison for that.
Yeah.
And the reason we wanted Rob to do that is because there's so many questions throughout the process on each level of that Rob has spent about 10 years running the corporate franchise through OxyFresh.
Yep.
So there's really nothing you can't ask him. He takes you through the entire process, but he also is there to go through any of the, in the field questions or cleaning system questions that you need. So he's an all-in-one type guy. He is your first, like I said, first line of defense there.
And just for everyone out there who knows, OxyFresh does have a long-standing practice of discriminating against people that are not former Division I basketball players. And so
Correct.
Rob is also a former Division I basketball player, which continues. I have filed a lawsuit. It was tossed out, but I'm coming back. I'm going to file that thing just because you're not a Division I basketball player doesn't mean you shouldn't have a fancy title at OxyFresh. But let me cue up the audio here between Chris and Tolik and Rob. It's going to take about a minute to really to know if it's them or not. Okay, and you can tell us. I'll get about 30 seconds in. You tell me if this is Rob and Chris talking. We'll see.
I don't know if you guys.
Let me see.
Ooh, one down. I know something.
I'm starting.
Feel fine, I guess.
Boy, that means I.
Oh God! Why didn't anybody tell me? Oh God! Why didn't anybody tell me?
Okay, I don't know. Was that the right audio file? Z left me these files.
That's a different audio file. That was a file from the last time we tried to have a corporate basketball team. It failed miserably. That was our first game and only game we played together.
Did you guys actually get sick?
We did not look good, my friend. It was pathetic.
None of us have worked out in 7 years. Let's get out there and do it. I love it. Okay, so what are other numbers that we should be tracking, my friend? We're tracking the feedback, the quality control. We're tracking what marketing is working. We're tracking what we're paying for in terms of marketing. What else should we be tracking?
Yeah, so there's a few ones that aren't as important, but I want to talk about them. Right?
Yeah,
we always talk about competitive reviews. You need to know where your competitors stand on the review front, and you need to put goals ahead of you. You should always be thriving to be at least 50 to 100 reviews over them, not just on your website, but on Google, on Facebook, on Yelp. You get to that point, you're going to dominate your market fully, and no one's going to be able to compete, and they're going to just quit doing it. Okay? So you need to know where your competition stands. Right, and those are numbers that you can look at very easy. Just go online, boom.
Wait, you just said if you get a ton more than the competition, if you blow them out of the water, they might just eventually quit trying because they're demoralized. Is that what you're saying?
100%.
There it is.
We see it all the time.
There it is.
Right. So absolutely, your goal should be for them to just stop at 50 and never try anymore because they're never going to catch it.
I had one coach that I played with there that was phenomenal, but his whole deal. Matt, and you remember basketball in the 90s, but you didn't have a lot of game film because it's the 90s. There wasn't all these websites where you could watch high school players. And we'd go into these tournaments where you're playing against a bunch of small schools in Minnesota, and he had this thing he would do where, like, if we were winning, he kept wanting to run up the score. Like, run it up. Like, it's like 4 minutes left to play and you're up by 8 points. He wants to get that thing up to 20 points a game. And eventually the other team quits trying because they think you're trying to humiliate them, which you kind of are. But also in the brackets, it looks pretty convincing when you see that this team won by 24 points. You know what I mean? Right. And so the other team almost gets psyched out along the way. And I see the same thing in business. There's some of my clients that have 400 reviews. I think of Dr. Morrow. Dr. Morrow, I'm looking up Dr. Mark Morrow right now. It's Morrow, Lyon, Kitterman. If you're listening right now and you type in Tulsa Pediatric Dentistry, I'm one of the best podcasting /Googlers on the planet. I'm doing it right now. And I look it up here, and he has 1,152 reviews, and the closest to him is 304. And the dude with 304 almost never adds more reviews because he's demoralized. I think he's probably depressed, and I want him to do well, but I not that well since he's not my client. Now, Matt, what's another key performance indicator or a number that we have to track if we want to be successful? Because Tilman Feritta says, know your numbers, and know your numbers. And if you have time, know your freaking numbers. Matt, help us out.
Yep. So one that's very simple to go through, but also can really change your bottom line is your product cost. Every single job has a product cost to it, right? And we know on ours, we always want to be around 5%. So if you're not at 5%, take out the situation where you have someone training because they have to get efficient at it. If you have a product cost of 5%, there's an issue, right? You either know there's an issue with them being not trained appropriately, or they might be doing jobs on the side, right? But if you don't know that, That's 5% of your bottom line that's going to nowhere.
So you're saying your product cost cannot be over. You have to know your product cost. Your product cost cannot be over 5%?
It shouldn't be. I mean, it can fluctuate a little bit, but if you have consistent 10%, something is happening in your business. If you don't know that, right, and that 10% goes on for years, right, you're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs that is coming out of your bottom line just because you have no idea how much it's actually costing you with your, two things are happening there. You don't know how much it's costing you, but you're also not paying attention to your customer or your technician's efficiency, right? Or you're missing something, right? But knowing that number,
right,
and letting your technician know that you know that number allows them to understand that, okay, I need to be a little bit more aware of what I'm doing. Maybe I don't need to use 3 scoops of product here because I don't need to and it's not necessary, right? And maybe you manage them better at how they're actually cleaning, right? Because I imagine if they're using more product than needed, the results are going to be a little less.
Now, I have a question. When you played basketball, who was your coach at the Division I level? Who was your coach?
So I had 2 of them. I had Craig Rasmussen, and I also had Tad Boyle, who is now the head coach of CU.
Of who?
CU Boulder. CU Boulder.
Oh, okay. So, and what was his name again, the CU Boulder guy?
Tad Boyle.
Now, I don't know if this – I have a list here of what appears to be Tad Boyle's – is it Thad or Tad?
Tad, T-A-D.
Okay, this appears to be Tad's rules for basketball success, and I want you to tell me if this was, in fact, some of the things he said. Step 1, don't wear that arm sleeve thing that Carmelo Anthony uses to compensate for not hustling. Don't wear that. Was that one of his? Now that was rule 1, and then 2, don't wear a headband that Carmelo Anthony uses to compensate for not hustling. 3, don't buy jewelry that Carmelo Anthony uses instead of using his brain. 4, don't wear the goggles that Amari Stoudemire used instead of learning how to shoot free throws. 5, don't wear accessories to compensate for lack of understanding the game of basketball. Are those any of his rules, or is that just my list of things that I wrote down?
I think you might have taken his rules and just put Carmelo Anthony in there.
Now this is I have audio of you though walking in for your last game. This is your last game. This is the music they queued up. A lot of players, in professional baseball, they get to choose a song they come into on the minor league level a lot, And Matty Klein, they called him MP or was it MK, the MK, the MK. And he comes in the court and the fan favorite. This guy's a legend here at the what college was it again here? The college. I want to make sure I get the right audio here.
University of Northern Colorado.
Yeah, huge fans up there. People who were very high up into the mountain regions would look down and watch the games. They love Matt Klein at MK. He comes out there and they'd cue up his audio because Matt would if you could picture this, Thrive Nation, he would put on the Amari Stoudemire goggles. He'd have Carmelo Anthony's what do you call those? Those tension sleeves? It's a tension sleeve. And then and then you wore and then he would wear the LeBron move where he wears like the Superman tights underneath his shorts, and then he wore like an Under Armour shirt that would repel the sweat, and then he had like a headband on, and Matt had the whole thing going, and then he had a lot of people have tattoos that mean things. He had tattoos that meant things that meant things. It was like a Jay-Z lyric. It was like a double entendre. It was like a metaphor. Matt Klein had the whole thing going on. This is what they would play every time he'd walk on the court. Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, our starting point guard, standing at, how tall are you, Matt?
5'10".
At 5'10". He's a beautiful man. He's so fine. He's got enough bling bling for all of us. It's Matty Klein. And then the crowd would go, boo, because they knew you're spending 6% of your gross revenue on accessories. Right?
That's exactly it.
That's what happened. The coach knew the numbers. The coach knew the numbers, and he's like, listen here, this guy, how many points a game did you average your senior year, Matt?
Of
college.
College?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, 10 maybe.
He's like, the announcer was really pretty rough on you, but he's like, averaging 10 points a game and spending $10,000 per week on apparel. It's Matty Klein. You know what I'm saying, though. There's certain players like that. Is it not? Were you a big? Because Carmelo played in your neck of the woods in Denver there. What were your thoughts about watching the great black hole of basketball, receive a ball, count to 23, and then shoot it last minute? Did you enjoy that? Was it fun? Was it fun to watch the man who couldn't find the gym? He could never find the workout center. He's like, hey, I have Carmelo would typically run around the Pepsi Center and go, guys, do you know where the weight room is? Because I haven't been able to find it. Did you enjoy watching Carmelo Anthony? I love Carmelo.
We were actually pretty good when he was there, but I will tell you his descent in the old NBA after that's been.
You're not as critical of him. You're not critical of Carmelo Anthony. You don't dislike Carmelo Anthony. I love Carmelo Anthony. I don't want it to come across like I don't like him. I'm just saying he's. Seriously, could you watch a game? Did you fall asleep? It was like watching baseball. He turned basketball into baseball.
I did watch him score 33 points in a quarter one time. But
did he shoot the ball 33 times during that quarter?
It could have been 50.
Unbelievable. Okay, what's another number that we need to know on the Bling Bling edition of the Know Your Numbers, and Know Your Numbers? Matty Klein from way downtown behind the line edition of the Thrivetime Show on your radio. Sir.
I got one more, and then I want to talk about something that happened with my franchise here. So the next one here is upsells.
Upsells.
Right? Again, we're always trying to increase your bottom line and make your employees more money off incentivized pay. So upsells, being able to take a job from 200 quoted to 250 completed, and basically it's just going above and beyond, right? We go by the 3 wow systems while you're in the home. We also want to make sure that customer knows what you are capable of as a company. So if they call to get 5 rooms done, and then you realize they have 3 dogs, and they don't know that you can actually do an odor treatment and a protectant treatment and spot treating kits, or you can actually service the upholstery. Maybe they got 4 couches and dogs sit on them all day long, right? They don't know you do that. They're not going to just ask you. Don't assume that they know. Take them through the 5-minute process with the walkthrough. Show them everything that you're capable of and let them know what you can do, right? And if you can add something to them that they want, that they see value to, and you can add that, then you are going to increase your bottom line. I mean, and if a technician can get to about a 20% upsell, I mean, they just basically gave themselves a $10,000 raise at the end of the year, right? That'll make you about $24,000 more dollars a year per technician just by having about a 20% upsell, even if they're not at a full schedule.
Now, my understanding,
Right, so know your
OxyFresh,
upsell.
if you buy a franchise, you're going to train the franchisee. If someone out there is listening and they invest about $57,000, they can buy an OxyFresh franchise, and you're going to teach them how to upsell, how to market, how to clean the carpets, how to hire techs. And I understand that you have actually developed a great video series, training videos, right? You have training videos, right?
Yeah, we have actually an OxyFresh University. It's a very scripted, by department of your franchise, what you need to do. You actually cannot open your schedule until you complete that university to 90%.
Now, I have audio.
So it's not a guideline. It's a necessary course that needs to be taken.
On the necessary videos to watch, there's sort of like an Easter egg. You know, it's like you get to the end, you get to see it. It's like the funny stuff after the credits. And Matt, this is a serious excerpt from one of the videos. This is called OxyFresh, How to Know If Your Customer Has Dogs in Their Home. And I'm going, okay, I want to watch this, and I know it's an audio-only show, but let me just cue it up here. And Josh, you can chime in and tell me, let it play for a minute, but tell me when you would know if there was a dog in the home. That way you would know if you needed to ask. You know, okay, let me cue it up here. Let me get the...
Is that Spanish?
I don't know. This part here sounds like they might.
Is that Mandarin?
That's probably what I'd say. Ma'am, do you have a dog here? Do you have a dog? It sounds like a dog. Josh,
but that's how thorough OxyFresh is, though. They're going to make sure you have that so that you can understand what it sounds like.
This sort of audio training is not available other places here. But seriously, upselling, if you do it consistently, you said $10,000 more a year you could make? $10,000?
Yeah, I mean, typically a technician can do about 13 to a very high efficient technician do about 13 to 15,000 a month in sales. So if you're actually doing a lot less than just 10,000, you do 20%, that's $2,000 in sales, right? if you're doing incentivized pay, that's after the fact. We pay 40% of any upsell to the technician. They can really kind of affect their year and their months. But also, your bottom line, again, increases by about $24,000, just by paying attention to what that customer's needs are. So that one's a big one. And all you need to do is look. We already track upsells just by when you close out your work orders. You can go there and you can just look at what it is. Look at what your upsell percentage is, and you know exactly what it is. And if they're at 3%, let's try to get them to 10%. Right? Once they're consistently at 10%, let's try to get them to 15%. Right? Because if they're at 3%, they're not asking anybody for anything. They're just doing the job.
Before I get into your
confidence issue.
Before I get into your story, I want to ask you this here: the confidence issue, the training issue. You see this a lot, where a sales representative is just they're not asking. They're coming back, they're unloading the vehicle, unloading the truck. They're coming back. They're in the Monday meeting. They're in the staff meeting. They're watching the training videos, but they're not asking. You know what I mean? They're not asking. How do you improve the confidence? Do you still believe in taser technology, waterboarding? What's your moves?
Taser technology works very well. Got to be a pretty strong person to get through that.
Works great on Al-Qaeda. It's amazing. Okay. All right. So.
But no, I mean, not everybody has these skills, so some will really be able to develop them and thrive. Yep. The confidence is important. I feel like most people, if they're not with a company that they actually trust the product, they're never going to ask, right? Because if they actually know that they're being viewed and watched and looked at and their performance is being, tracked, right, they're not going to go above and beyond and open up the window if they're not confident in what they're doing. So you need to make sure that person is trained enough to where you can send them to your grandma's home. You can send them to your friend's home, and you have no concern that they're going to do a good job.
Come on now.
Right? If you have any type of inkling that I'm not really sure, then you need to just train them, right? It doesn't cost a lot for us to train. Take a day out, don't have jobs, just make sure that they're confident, right? If you don't spend enough time with them to know what they're good at and what they're bad at, then it's going to be pretty hard to train them. Just spend a little time, develop their skill sets.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, once they start and they get confident, they are going to make more money.
Come on.
They are going to be happier.
Glory.
And everybody else in your company is going to thrive. By the way, if they have other technicians in there, they're going to see that, because it's important to know how your peers are doing in a comparison fashion, right? So if you have guys that are 20%, you have a guy that's at 5%, by nature, he's going to want to be at 20%. Nobody wants to be the 3% guy, and if they're okay at that, you need to replace them.
Before I'll ask Josh with Living Water Irrigation, one of our show sponsors, to interrogate you with questions, I have audio of Rob, who I affectionately call Black Rob. I have audio of Black Rob celebrating the successful training of a member of your team. And again, if I have confused the audio files, then you call me out here. I'm just going to cue it up here. When Z's gone, he's a doctor. He writes in that doctor kind of, the doctor font where you're not really sure. And I'm just reading these files here, and this one says, sound effects, glory. Let me cue it up. I think this is it. Probably.
Hey.
I'll be all right. I'll be all right. That's the kind of training Rob gives you. It's just unbelievable. It's thorough. It's almost biblical. It's like it's taking us back to a time in America when life was good. So, Josh, take us back to a time, or take us into the future in a time in America when life was good, and ask Matt any question you want to ask him about tracking numbers, because you run a business. You guys did you have a record sales week this week? I mean, it was
we did.
When you have a six-figure week, it's a great week.
It was a very, very, very good week.
So things are going well here for Living Water Irrigation. It's a great business where they put in irrigation systems for lawns, and so you can stop dragging hoses around, and they do $1 for the first service call. It's livingwaterirrigationok.com, right? livingwaterirrigationok.com. Josh, what question do you have for Matt Klein?
Hey, Matt, so I guess we could ask first why the Nuggets didn't get on the Thunder fire sale. I mean, I guess y'all had some opportunities there.
Yeah.
So, the other thing is the season ticket.
Man.
Y'all are set. Like, y'all are ready to go.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be you just watch.
I thought it was pretty low when the Thunder
season we ever had.
Hey, when the Thunder were selling, when they're offering to sell the services of the ball boy, I knew they were having a fire sale. That's how I knew. When they were like all the parking attendants, they're like, take them.
Second round pick for him though. They got a second round pick for him.
With the general managers down there offering, the NBA. I know the NFL goes what six rounds.
Yeah.
How many rounds does the NBA go
2.
right now? Two rounds. Yeah, I knew it was pretty bad when they were offering the services of the water boy for a second round pick. Okay, but back to you, Josh. What question do you have for?
Hey, Matt, so I know there at OxyFresh, obviously, I'll have all the systems and the processes in place and stuff. So, you're going to have all the spreadsheets and all those things for your franchisees to be able to input their numbers. As far as a lot of other small business owners out there, how often do you think they should be addressing these points that you came up with the marketing and tracking each individual tech and all those things? How often do you think a business owner should be reviewing their numbers or looking at their numbers or spending time on them?
Yeah, I think if you're a small business and you do not have the ability to just pull a report, then I think you need to stay on this almost daily, if not weekly, because the biggest thing that people do is once they get behind, they go, too much work to get back.
Too much work.
They just forget about it.
Get off. I'm off the wagon. I'm going to stay off the wagon.
Much.
Yeah, it's too much work once you've said, you know what, let's let it go. Let's let it flow. Then you kind of get into this where you're kind of like a freestyle rapper of business. And you're just like, I'm not going to write down my lyrics. I'm like the Jay-Z of my industry. But then you realize you're not Jay-Z, and that's a bad place to be there. Back to you, Mr. Livingwater.
So the other question I'd have for you, and this is just your opinion. So if by knowing your numbers, if let's say you went and signed a contract for a billboard, and you're paying $400 a week for this bad boy,
that's a hot thing.
And over 6 months,
put your wife on it.
Over 6 months,
put her on the thing. Come on.
You've gotten zero return.
Put her on there.
Like, would OxyFresh probably continue down that road and say, man, that's a really smart investment?
It's a hot deal.
Yeah. Well, there's two things. That's a great question, Josh. One, before you go down that road, have a conversation with our marketing department because we have 13 years of marketing experience and what works and what doesn't. At the end of the day, it is your business completely. You can make that decision. But billboards is a great example. We know they don't work. I can express that openly. We've seen it doesn't work. So we would tell you not to.
Wait a minute. I can't handle it so good. Are you saying?
Holy cow!
Oh! Are you saying? Are you trying to say on this show right now?
Holy cow!
Right here on this show, you're gonna come out here throwing freaking haymakers. I've got audio. This is what Dr. Z wanted me to say to you.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
This is the thing. Dr. Z had one more audio clip he wanted me to share with you from his vacation resort. He said this. He said, play this for Matt Klein if he'd start saying that billboards don't work.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue. Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking. Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit drinking. Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
Okay, here's the deal. I don't have any clients I've ever worked with that have ever had success with billboards.
Never.
Ever. But there's always a hook, and it's a vanity move, right? I mean, isn't it awesome when you go to the Pepsi Center and you're out there taking an A-Whiz and you look up and your picture and your ad is right there above the urinals and you're going, look at me, I'm the DUI guy.
And then your mom calls you and your mom says, hey, I saw your billboard.
Hey, I was peeing right on your face right there in the bathroom, the urinal. It was awesome.
You're like, good, Mom, can you buy something?
I mean, the billboard. I mean, look, I saw the billboard. Look, I see you everywhere. I mean, that's like, I don't know, that's like men. I see a lot of men sometimes who get bedazzled jeans that are very tight and they get one good black shirt and they get a truck with the biggest tires in the whole world to make up for the fact they've had no sales this month, ever. Can you talk to me about this phenomenon, the billboard game, Matt? Because you really took this show to a dark place. Very dark.
Yeah, well, your actual question is if you go 6 months, you don't get any return on anything, you either need to cut it off completely and reinvest somewhere else, or you need to go back to the drawing board or the vendor that is actually behind it and say, what is going on? Turn this around or my money's going elsewhere. Right. So the question you posed, Josh, was would we continue to do that? I would certainly hope not.
And what I was the reason why I brought that up, that was yours truly. I have to take ownership for that. That was me. Fell into the whole brand recognition. The billboard will be great nonsense. So, but with that being said, I think there's a lot of listeners out there that need to hear this.
Yes.
Make sure you get a true evaluation and what your return is going to be off of that billboard that you drive down 169 and look at, but nobody's ever called you.
Let me tell you, I have audio here. I got a lot of audio clips today because he's gone and he's just giving me access to all his files. And he's that kind of benevolent doctor where he says, I can't be there to treat the patients, but I give you my tools. You know what I mean? And I have access to a nurse practitioner who can help me administer the stuff. Matt, I'm going to play audio. This was audio of Josh, actually, when he drove by his billboard after, 2 months of running the billboards?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He got out of his car on 169, Josh, or if you can picture this, Matt, you picture this, 169, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Highway 169, there's like an overpass area. He gets out of his car. He looks at the majestic billboard.
And with the sun sparkling.
While also comparing stats. He realizes he's got no deals. Like, if you got like one deal off that?
So we had 3 really small deals.
And how much did it cost?
I'm into it. I'm into it now for like $12,000.
So this is audio of
I could have had a Prius.
So after Josh saw,
you can hire the salesman that got you to do it.
No, he's busy selling ice to Eskimos right now. So anyway, so what happens is after Josh saw he was doing tracking. He's like, Matt Klein says to track. I'm going to track. He's tracking. He's looking at the billboard. He pulls over. His mom calls, honey, look, I see the billboard. Look, you're on the billboard. He's so excited. His mom calls. He shows the numbers. He realizes he's got 3 deals for $12,000. And this is audio of what he did next. And you're going to have to let the audio kind of work its magic here. It's kind of like a good marination, okay? It's like a good rotisserie. We got to let this happen, okay? This is a good stew. Listen to this, Matt. And maybe give all the listeners out there advice about why not to use billboards after we finish the next 1 minute and 48 seconds. Here we go.
In progress. I'm in pursuit.
He's driving.
Hello?
He's driving. He's on the phone with his mom. He's trying to get to the billboard. He sees it. He looks at the stats, and he realizes off the overpass.
Should have just driven off the cliff.
He's still rolling.
Still tumbling.
He's checking the stats.
Just like the revenue numbers, just tumbling.
Wait a minute. He gets there. He's like, are you saying I got 3 calls? I'm so happy I'm alive. And then he kind of gathers. He's looking. He's like, I got 3 calls. Oh, no.
And it's still not over. Still got 6 months in the contract left to go.
He's got 6 months left. Yeah, he's got 6 months. He's on the phone with his mom, and she's like, I saw the billboard.
Oh, and that's it.
No, he gets a text message from your office assistant, and she says, we did get 1 call. There it comes. Matt, what would you say to the business owners out there that feel like that when they discovered after tracking that their sales are lacking?
Yeah, I mean, don't sign long-term contracts. That's a hard one, right?
Come on now.
Negotiate, even if you have to pay a little bit more for a smaller period of time. That'll be worth it for you to figure out if it works, right? 6 months, 12 months. Most marketing companies want your business. Negotiate and be a very good negotiator for your money. And track it, right? Even after 2 months, if you get 0 sales, you need to figure out why. So you either need to put that vendor on the spot, or you need to just adjust and move your funds elsewhere, right? We live in the age of online marketing.
Yep.
So start there, right? Start there. It works. We know it works. And when it comes to service brands where you have a vehicle going to customers, that is your billboard.
That's it.
Right? That is your billboard. You're actually taking your billboard to customers that have already asked for your service.
Come on now.
In the neighborhoods where you're going to have like-minded people, you already have multiple billboards out every single day.
Yep.
You don't need to put one that's stagnant because no one's going to call it. You're basically giving every other company their business because they're not calling that number, right? They're not pulling over. They're saying, maybe I need a pizza. Maybe I need to get my carpets cleaned. Maybe I need to get my roof cleaned.
People are not pulling over, just like a lot of dads wouldn't let their kids pull over on road trips. You're like, Dad, I got to pee. I got a severe bladder infection. We're coming back from the Mayo Clinic, and your dad's like, pee in a cup or hold it. You know what I mean? There's certain dads
just,
like that.
Just so we're clear here, Matt, just so I understand. So you're saying the billboard was a good investment?
Yes, if you put that billboard on your vehicle, right? No, but just ask us. Right?
Okay.
Ask us or do the research.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of companies actually, even if they're your competitors, just call them.
Dad, can
Right?
I
If
pull
you're out
over
there
and
you're
look at the
starting your
billboard?
own business, do as much research as possible.
Dad, can I pull over and look at the billboard? No, son. Here's some tape. Dad, why are you giving me tape? I'm not pulling over till we get to Des Moines, son. There's certain people like that called everybody. They're not pulling over to look at that billboard.
Ain't happening.
Holy crap, it's a billboard. Let's pull over. Okay, so Matt, I'm gonna give you time to share the story, and I just want to know the story. Is it an uplifting story? Because I need to know what kind of music to have ready.
Yep, no, it's uplifting.
Okay.
It's very short.
Okay.
It goes back to the numbers. This just happened to me about 3 months ago. And I live this every day. So it just tells you there's so many things about a business that, you need to pay attention to. Like all those things I mentioned, we're very good at all those things, right? And I got stuck with looking at all those things, but I was missing one key thing that I just had to start talking to other people, right? Because I look at these other franchises, they were getting a lot more sales per month per employee. So I was like, well, maybe my employees aren't doing well, or maybe my, whatever. And so I just started doing a little research, talking to people, and I was doing about 13,000 a month per technician. But then our team at OxyFresh, they said, well, what's your time per room, right? Because we actually, in the scheduling software, to get the appropriate amount per job that it takes, you have to put a time assessment to each service. So if it's one room, it's got a time. If it's a staircase, it's got a time. If it's a hallway, it's got a time. And I was still at the default time schedule for when I first started my business. That should be something to where it's just a training. Like one room would be 20 minutes. Staircase would be 25. I moved all those down to a more manageable, because I asked all my employees, I said, do you think you guys could do more jobs in a day? And they go, oh yeah, we're always kind of hanging around. And I'm like, oh, what an idiot, right? So I took all my numbers, instead of 20, I took them to 10. Instead of 25 for a stair, I went to 15. I am able to produce $3,000 to $4,000 per technician more per month just by understanding where my time is, right? My time per room, my time per job.
You get some mega
points. My employees are going to make so much more money, and they want to, and they don't want to be sitting around. So that's like a kick you moment, right?
Yeah.
But it just goes to tell you, I was being stubborn in the fact that I thought I knew it all, and I just wasn't asking those questions. All I needed to do was just ask. I could have done this a year ago.
Hey, a real quick question. I want to ask. I'm not going to ask you your routing number like I normally do on the show, but where do you bank at? What's the name of your bank that you bank at?
Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo. I don't know if the listeners are out there familiar with this, but you have the new Wells Fargo app. I've heard. I have no proof of this. I've not talked to anybody about it. It's more of a feeling I have, but I understand you have the Wells Fargo app, and then whenever money goes into your account, you get like a sound effect, like a Galaga, sound effect. Like when every time a dollar comes in, it's like a whoop whoop, And Matt, I've got audio of the app of the money coming into your account since you improved the efficiency by tracking your numbers. Let me cue it up real quick. $4. 5. Oh, that's like 9. Oh, that's like a 10-pointer. Oh,
that could have been a refund.
Oh, no, these are all any point at all is a good point. Oh, that's $34. Oh, wait, here we go. Woo! Dude, you're making a ton of money, man. You're getting 8. Oh, whoa, that was a sneaky dollar. Oh, another online booking.
Oh, that was 100.
Oh, that's 100. Oh, tractor beam. That's you're going to the lady with the cats. You're the cat lady who has like 47 cats. You're going to be there forever. No, wait. She says, no, it's the house next door. It's the house next door.
Where they shot the dog video.
Oh, there we go.
The audio.
That's unbelievable audio, Matt. I love that app.
Yeah, it's a good app.
It's a great app. Now, Matt, final question here.
Think about this one last thing. That change alone, if you have 4 employees, right, that will make you an extra $120,000 a year without actually hiring another person.
Matt, I got one more question for you. This is from Josh. We were talking today about monotony. And because I have no hobbies, interests, need for vacation, I'm really good. Business has always been easy for me because I just love stupid, repetitive tasks. But for normal people, I mean, people with a soul, you know, or hobbies or interests or any type of well-roundedness to them, they might say, I don't want to eat at Mr. Mambo's every single night, and I don't want to have the same schedule every day, and I want to, you know, enjoy trips. Like you just went to a trip. Where'd you go, Matt? Did you go to Claremore, or where'd you go?
I went to Exuma in the Bahamas.
Right to the left of Claremore. So people who like to travel, like to enjoy big things, but great trips and fun with family and playing sports and outdoors activities. What advice would you have? Because Josh and I were talking about that. Maybe Josh, maybe you can tee up the question about monotony better than I can.
Yeah. So what Clay and I were talking about earlier is what do you do when the new wears off? So, you know, those folks have been in business for a few years, and when it started, it was all super exciting. And it was like the new girlfriend in high school, and she was better looking than the old girlfriend. And, you know, and now, but once you're into it for a few years, and it's the same routine day in, day out, same thing.
Well, first off, you listen to some Kenny G.
Oh.
I'll tell you, that's what you do right away. If you're going through a dry spell, if you're out there and you're listening to me and you're in a monogamous relationship in the context of marriage, and you're trying to get up your sexual performance, what you do is you just put in this album.
Get up.
This is like this is like that happy Saturday morning stuff here. That's the morning glory. That's not what I'm looking for. No. Anyway, back to you, Matt. Follow that up as I look for more. No, here it is. This is the music. This is the music I was conceived to. This song came out, and this is the song I was conceived to. Great job, Dad. Okay, back to you, Matt.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, if you're getting to a point where you're not enjoying what you're doing, or you're going, you know, the repetitive tasks, I mean, you are the owner of this business, right? It's going to be driven by you and how successful it's going to be. I would hope that if you get into this business and you're going through, you have opportunities to either do other businesses, or you have opportunities to scale. I mean, if you're not regularly having conversations with other franchisees within the system, right, I think that would be I don't think you're taking advantage of protected territories like with OxyFresh and being able to stay motivated and stay upbeat. I mean, if you're not motivated by adding more employees, that's probably another conversation. But you should be able to, as an entrepreneur, specifically with OxyFresh, to be open to any opportunity that comes down the road.
There we go.
I mean, so if you're tired of monotony and you're just getting the same, you know, money every single week, you know, give yourself another opportunity, right? Give yourself a hobby. Find like-minded companies that you can be successful at. Right? Maybe add another service to what we already have. We do carpet, upholstery, tile, grout, hardwood, floor. If you're only doing a few of those, add another one. That could be another challenge.
You know,
right? If you just don't like to do it, sell your business for a profit and go do something else, because, you know, there's nothing worse than being poor.
You know, 9 out of 10 small businesses fail, according to Forbes. 9 out of 10 startups fail, according to Forbes. And 9 out of 10 franchises don't fail. So if you're interested today in buying a business, buying a job, buying time freedom and financial freedom, looking into the OxyFresh opportunity, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com/OxyFresh, that's thrivetimeshow.com/OxyFresh. Wait a minute, I'm trying to pull over at the billboard for the first time in American history. It's thrivetimeshow.com / Dad, wait a minute, I'm trying to go. No, it's thrivetimeshow.com / OxyFresh. Write down that number, or write down that web address, write it down. And then if you fill out the form, Matt Klein and the team in Denver, Colorado, they'll get in touch with you. And Matt, can we get in the game for under 60 G's? I mean, Death Row Records had a lot of G's. For under 60 G's, can we get into an OxyFresh, or do we need more G's than Death Row Records had?
Right at 60, you'll be very good. Anything above that, you know, there is a different investment if you're not going to do jobs at all in the very beginning, right? Because you're going to need some funds to really, you know, have that employee get up and operate. So I always, between 60 and 65 is a very good number for us. That'll take care of the franchise fee up front, all the training, the equipment, your ramp up investment to get you to a cash flow positive state. So 60 to 65 is a very good number to think about.
I'm going to read this off here, Matt, then we'll wrap up today's show. Okay. When I think about 60 G's, I want to count. I'm going to say their name, and then you count them out, and you'll tell me whether it costs more G's to buy an OxyFresh or it takes more G's to build Death Row Records. Okay. So Josh and Matt, you keep track.
All right.
Okay. Here we go. So second to none. That's G1. Above the Law, G2. These are all artists. Bad As, AZZ. Clever. See what he did there? He didn't curse.
Oh, I like it. Good
It's a
play.
family show. Big C Style. That's 4. Big Pimpin' de Le Monde. That's 5. Big Trey D. That's 6. Butch Cassidy. 7. Chili Chill. 8. Chocolate. 9. Chocolate Bandit. 10. 11.
cousin.
CPO Boss Hog. Crooked. 1 is 12. Cuz Big H Lauren. Danny H, that's 14. Daz Dillinger, that's 15. I'm adding it up here. It looks like, MC Hammer ended up on Death Row Records from 95 to 96. Did you know that?
Did not know that.
Things got bad over
They
there.
got a lot of G's.
Things got bad over there. They're like, well, let's sign Ed McMahon and MC Hammer. We got to fix this record label. All right, Matty Klein, I appreciate you. Carmelo Anthony, I tell you what, buddy, if you're out there wanting to go one-on-one, I challenge you. One-on-one. Now, 5 on 5, I could beat you. One-on-one, I know you're going to beat me. But then we go 5 on 5, and no matter what squad I have, we're going to beat you because you need to learn to pass the ball, my friend. May you get a deal in China or something. All right, Matt Klein, you take care. Have a great day. And now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom! All right, let's just say that you're out there listening today and you have a website for your business. The question I would have for you is, are you getting the most number of leads possible? Are you ranking high? Wow.
Touching the canvas.
Can't feel my face. Or are you ranking
low
in the Google search engine results? Again, I ask, are you ranking high? Or are you ranking low on the Google search engine search results? Take a moment today and do a Google search for the keywords that you want to come up top for and see where you are ranking. We have Josh Spurl, a CPA from Canada, and we have Dr. Timothy Johnson here from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Josh Spurl, how in the heck are you?
Doing pretty good, Clay. Yourself?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well here. We're not broadcasting from the Man Cave studios as normal, so we got a little bit of background noise there to contend with, but we're here, and I wanted to see if you could share with the Thrive Nation approximately how long you and I have been working together and how that's impacted the number of inbound leads that you're generating as a result of your Google search engine ranking and internet marketing.
Well, we've been working together, Clay, now for almost a year. It was about a year ago I came out to my first conference, and then we started with the coaching program shortly after that. And, our Google leads have gone from, something that we would generate, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 leads a year to, we're talking about 3 to 9 leads every single week.
And now we have Dr. Timothy Johnson in the box from Alabama, Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, so I'm at Southern Eye Consultants. It's in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. We heard about you on the podcast, and I had a lot of trepidation at first about getting involved, just making sure it was legit. But all my expectations have been exceeded.
What concerns did you have about our legitness or lack thereof?
I was just concerned about back-end upselling, what I was getting into.
That's what I found. My entire career,
Yeah.
I had been. Had you guys been to, Dr. Tim? Had you been to other workshops or had other industry coaching before? Because I had hired a lot of them, frankly, and I just found I spent. I would be lying if I said hundreds of thousands. It's been more than that.
Oh, we hired somebody to do our website right before we found you.
Yeah,
and it was 3 or 4 months of your coaching service, and we still haven't launched that website yet.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. So if somebody out there's thinking about filling out the form, if someone's thinking about emailing us to info@thrivetimeshow.com, it's info@thrivetimeshow.com, and they have a little bit of hesitation, just a little bit, I don't know, just a little bit, what advice would you have for them, Dr. Tim?
First of all, come to one of the conferences. You'll see that he may dress like Bill Belichick, but my wife's a Pats fan, so that was a real selling point.
Nice.
She thought you were a hobo, but I said, no, he's just Bill Belichick. She goes, okay, you can go.
Nice.
But it's also month to month, so try it, and if you don't like it, cancel.
That deserves a mega point. So again, what is where has your sales gone up? Have you increased your sales? I mean, where's your financial? I'm not asking for the hard number here, but as a percentage, how much are you up since you started with the program? 4 months ago versus now?
Our sales have gone up 20%. We're looking to scale Southern Eye Consultants, and just the number of patients who come in because they found us on Google has gone up a lot. I text you once a week to say you paid for yourself just in somebody walking in. So.
Oh, Billy.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Again, if you're out there today and you feel stuck, just email us to info@thrivetimeshow.com. info@thrivetimeshow.com. Let us begin to do a deep dive analysis on your website. We'll tell you what's wrong with it. We're going to do a 37-point audit of your website. Our member of our team will call you. They'll go over it with you. They'll break it down. You'll understand what you need to do to improve. I'll give you the final words here, guys. So start with you, Captain Spurl, Josh Spurl, CPA. As Captain Canada and as a man who's been to 2 workshops now, we got an audience, picture 500,000 people listening here. What is the advice that you would tell them?
I think they got to come out to a workshop. You know, it's the best one that I've ever seen. You know, I find that most of the workshops I've been to, you're sitting around all day for one good idea, and you're getting a good idea every single hour at these workshops.
Dr. Tim, what is the word of encouragement, maybe discouragement, maybe the motivation, maybe the verbal tasering? What advice would you give for the listeners out there today?
I'd say the worst idea you can do is not starting now. Just call and start now, and you'll be better off for it.
You heard them right there. Thrive Nation, go to info@thrivetimeshow.com. Email us to info@thrivetimeshow.com. Allow us to do a free 37-point analysis of your website. We'll tell you what's wrong. We'll tell you how to fix it. If you're not ranking high enough in those Google search engine results, it will literally cost your company millions and millions and millions of dollars. But don't take my word for it. Go to thrivetimeshow.com and click on the testimonials button. And as of the time of this recording, we have over 1,000 video reviews from my clients I've had from 2008 up until now, from conference attendees. You're just an email away from becoming a game-changing success story. Email us today at info@thrivetimeshow.com. And we like to end every show and every shameless testimonial session with a boom. And so now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I've definitely learned a lot about life design and making sure the business serves you. The linear workflow for us and getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. We have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls, figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side. Play is hilarious. I literally laughed so hard that I started having tears yesterday. And we've been learning a lot, which, you know, we've been sitting here, we've been learning a lot, and so the humor definitely helps. It breaks it up. But the content is awesome, off the charts, and it's very interactive. You can raise your hand. It's not like you're just listening to the professor speak, you know. The wizard teaches, but the wizard interacts and he takes questions, so that's awesome. If you're not attending the conference, you're missing about 3/4 to half of your life. You're definitely, it's probably worth a couple $1,000s. So you're missing the thought process of someone that's already started like 9 profitable businesses. So not only is it a lot of good information, but just getting in the thought process of Clay Clark or Dr. Zellner or any of the other coaches, getting in the thought process of how they're starting all these businesses, to me, just that is priceless. That's money. Well, we're definitely not getting upsold here. My wife and I have attended conferences where it was great information, and then they upsold us like half the conference, and I don't want to like bang my head into a wall, and she's like banging her head into the chair in front of her. Like, it's good information, but we're like, oh my gosh, I want to strangle you. Shut up and go with the presentation that we paid for. And that's not here. there's no upsells or anything, so that's awesome. I hate that. It makes me angry. So glad that's not happening. So the cost of this conference is quite a bit cheaper than business college. I went to a small private liberal arts college and got a degree in business, and I didn't learn anything like they're teaching here. I didn't learn linear workflows. I learned stuff that I'm not using, and I haven't been using for the last 9 years. So what they're teaching here is actually way better than what I got at business school. And I went what was actually ranked as a very good business school. I would definitely recommend that people would check out the Thrive 15 conference. The information that you're going to get is just very, very beneficial, and the mindset that you're going to get, that you're going to leave with, is just absolutely worth the price of a little bit of money and a few days worth of your time.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us. This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right? So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you, thank you, thank you times 1,000.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
Okay, Aaron Antis, March 6th and 7th. March 6th and 7th, guess who's coming to Tulsa, Jerusalem?
Ooh, Santa Claus?
No, that's March 6th and 7th. You're going to be joined by Robert Kiyosaki.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Probably the best-selling, or one of the best-selling business authors of all time. And he's going to be joined with Eric Trump. He'll be joined by Eric Trump. So we got Eric Trump and Robert Kiyosaki in the same place. Aaron, why should everybody show up to hear Robert Kiyosaki?
Well, you got billions of dollars of business experience between those two, not to mention many, many, many millions of books have been sold. Many, many millionaires have been made from the books that have been sold by Robert Kiyosaki. I happen to be one of them. I learned from the man. He was the inspiration. That book was the inspiration for me to get the entrepreneurial spirit, as many other people.
Now, since you won't brag on yourself, I will. You've sold billions of dollars of houses, am I correct?
That is true.
And the book that kickstarted it all for you,
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the author, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, the guy that kickstarted your career.
Yeah.
He's going to be here.
I'm pumped.
And now Eric Trump, people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. There's not 50 employees. The Trump organization, again, most people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. And while Donald J. Trump was the 45th president of these United States and soon to be the 47th president of these United States, he needed someone to run the companies for him. And so the man that runs the Trump organization for Donald J. Trump, as he was the 45th president of the United States and now the 47th president of the United States, is Eric Trump. And so Eric Trump is here to talk about time management, promoting from within, marketing, branding, quality control, sales systems, workflow design, workflow mapping, how to build. I mean, everything that you see, the Trump hotels, the Trump golf courses, all their products, the man who manages billions of dollars of real estate and thousands of employees is here to teach us how to do it.
You are talking about one of the greatest brands on the planet from a business standpoint.
Right.
I mean, who else has been able to create a brand like the Trump brand? I mean, look at it. And this is the man behind the business for the last pretty much since 2015. He's been the man behind it. So you're talking, we're into 9 going into 10 years of him running it, and we get to tap into that knowledge. That's going to be amazing.
Now, think about this for a second. Would you buy a ticket just to see Robert Kiyosaki and Eric Trump? Of course you would.
Of course you would.
But we're also going to be joined by Sean Baker. This is the best-selling author, the guy who invented the carnivore diet.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Sean Baker. He's been on Joe Rogan multiple times. He's going to be joining us. So you've got Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Eric Trump, Sean Baker. The lineup continues to grow, and this is how we do our tickets here at the Thrivetime Show. If you want to get a VIP ticket, you can absolutely do it. It's $500 for a VIP ticket. We've always done it that way. Now, if you want to take a general admission ticket, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. And the reason why I do that, and the reason why we do that is because we want to make our events affordable for everybody. I grew up without money. I totally understand what it's like to be in a tight spot. So if you want to attend, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. That's how I do it. And it's $500 for a VIP ticket. Now, we only have limited seating here. With the most people we've ever had in this building was for the Jim Brewer presentation. Jim Brewer came here, the legendary comedian Jim Brewer came to Tulsa, and we had 419 people that were here. 419 people.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, there's no more room. I felt kind of bad that if a couple people had VIP seats in the men's restroom. No, I'm just kidding. But I thought, you know what? We should probably add on. So we're adding on what we call the upper deck, or the top shelf. So the seats are very close to the presenters, but we're actually building right now. We're adding on to the facility to make room to accommodate about another 30 attendees or more. So again, if you want to get tickets for this event, all you have to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. When you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you'll go there, you'll request a ticket, boom. Or if you want to text me, if you want a little bit faster service, you say, I want you to call me right now. Just text my number. It's my cell phone number, my personal cell phone number. We'll keep that private between you, me, everybody. We'll keep that private. And anybody. Don't share that with anybody except for everybody. That's my private cell phone number. It's 918-851-0102. 918-851-0102. I know we have a lot of Spanish-speaking people that attend these conferences, and to be bilingually sensitive, my cell phone number is 918-851-0102.
That is not actually bilingual. That's just saying Juan for a one. It's not the same thing.
I think you're attacking me. Now, let's talk about this. Now, what kind of stuff will you learn at the Thrivetime Show workshop? So, Aaron, you've been to many of these over the past 7-8 years. So let's talk about it. I'll tee up the thing, and then you tell me what you're going to learn here, okay?
Okay.
You're going to learn marketing and branding. What are we going to learn about marketing and branding?
Oh, yeah. We're going to dive into, so many people say, I got to get my brand known out there, like the Trump brand, right? You want to get that brand out there. It's like, how do I actually make people know what my business is and make it a household name? You're going to learn some intricacies of how you can do that.
You're going to learn sales. So many people struggle to sell something. This just in, your business will go to hell if you can't sell. So we're going to teach you sales. We're going to teach you search engine optimization, how to come up top in the search engine results. We're going to teach you how to manage people. Aaron, you have managed, no exaggeration, hundreds of people throughout your career and thousands of contractors. And most people struggle with managing people. Why does everybody have to learn how to manage people?
Well, because first of all, you either have great people or you have people who suck. And so it can be a challenge. Learning how to work with a large group of people and get everybody pulling in the same direction can be a challenge. But if you have the right systems, you have the right processes, and you're really good at selecting great ones, and we have a process we teach about how to find great people. When you start with the people who have a great attitude, they're teachable, they're driven, all of those things, then, you can get those people all pulling in the same direction.
So we're going to teach you branding, marketing, sales, search engine optimization. organization. We're going to teach you accounting. We're going to teach you personal finance, how to manage your finance. We're going to teach you time management. How do you manage your time? How do you get more done during a typical day? How do you build an organization if you're not organized? How do you do organization? How do you build an org chart? Everything that you need to know to start and grow a business will be taught during this 2-day interactive business workshop. Now, let me tell you how the format is set up here. And again, folks, this is a 2-day interactive 15. Think about this, folks. It's 2 days. Each day it starts at 7 a.m. and it goes until 5 p.m. So from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., 2 days. It's a 2-day interactive workshop. The way we do it is we do a 30-minute teaching session, and then we break for 15 minutes for a question and answer session. So, Aaron, what kind of great stuff happens during that 15-minute question and answer session after every teaching session?
I actually think it's the best part about the workshops, because here's what happens. I've been to lots of these things over the years. I've paid many thousands of dollars to go to them. And you go in there and they talk in vague generalities, and they're constantly upselling you for something, trying to get you to buy this thing or that thing or this program or this membership. And you leave not getting your very specific questions answered about your business or your employees or what you're doing on your marketing. And what's awesome about this is we literally answer every single question that any person asks, and it's very specific to what your business is.
And what we do is we allow you as the attendee to write your questions on the whiteboard.
Yep.
And then we literally, as you mentioned, we answer every single question on the whiteboard. And then we take a 15-minute break to stretch and to make it entertaining when you're stretching. And this is a true story. When you get up and stretch, you'll be greeted by mariachis. There's going to probably be alpaca here, llamas, helicopter rides, a coffee bar, a snow cone. There's just...
You had a crocodile one time. That was pretty interesting.
You know, I should write that down and actually do that.
Sorry for that one guy that we lost.
The crocodile, we duct taped its face so that we duct taped.
No, it was a baby crocodile.
And it was duct tape.
Yeah, duct tape around the mouth so it didn't bite anybody. But it was really cool passing that thing around and petting
I should do that. We have a small petting zoo that will be assembled. It's going to be great. And then you're in the company of hundreds of entrepreneurs. So there's not a lot of people in America today. In fact, there's less than 10 million people today, according to U.S. Debt Clock, that identify as being self-employed. So if you have a country with 350 million people, that means you have less than 3% of our population that's even self-employed. Yeah. So you only have 3 out of every 100 people in America that are self-employed to begin with. And when Inc. magazine reports that 96% of businesses fail by default, you have a 1 out of 1,000 chance of succeeding in the game of business.
It's tough.
But yet the average client that you and I work with, we can typically double this. And this is no hyperbole, no exaggeration. And I have thousands of testimonials to back this up. We have thousands of testimonials to back it up. But when you work with a home builder, when I work with a business owner, we can typically double the size of the company within 24 months.
Yeah.
Double. And you say double? Yeah, there's businesses that we have tripled. There's businesses we've grown 8x. There's so many examples you can see at thrivetimeshow.com. But again, this is the most interactive, best business workshop on the planet. This is objectively the highest rated and most reviewed business workshop on the planet. And then you add to that Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You add to that Eric Trump, the man that runs the Trump Organization. You add to that Sean Baker. Now you might take, but Clay, is there more? I need more. Well, okay, Tom Wheelwright is the wealth strategist for Robert Kiyosaki. So people say, Robert Kiyosaki, who's his financial wealth advisor? Who's the guy who manages, who's his wealth strategist? His wealth strategist, Tom Wheelwright, will be here. And you say, Clay, I'm not going to get a ticket unless you give me more. Okay, fine. We're going to serve you the same meal both days. True story. We cater in the food, and because I keep it simple, I literally bring in the same food both days for lunch. It's Ted Escondido's, an incredible Mexican restaurant. That's going to happen. And Jill Donovan, our good friend, who is the founder of Rustic Cuff. She started that company in her home, and now she sells millions of dollars of apparel and products. That's rusticcuff.com. And someone says, I want more. This is not enough.
Give me more.
Okay. I'm not going to mention their names right now because I'm working on it behind the scenes here. But we've got one guy who's given me a verbal to be here. And this is a guy who's one of the wealthiest people in Oklahoma, and nobody really knows who he is because he's built systems that are very utilitarian, that offer a lot of value. He's made a lot of money in the It's where you rent. It's short term. Not. It's where you're renting storage spaces. He's a storage space guy. He owns the. What do you call that? The rental.
A storage space.
Storage units. This guy owns storage units. He owns railroad cars. He owns a lot of assets that make money on a daily basis, but they're not like customer facing. Most people don't know who owns the mini storage facility, or most people don't know who owns the warehouse that's passively making money. Most people don't know who owns the railroad cars, but this guy, he's given me a verbal that he will be here, and we just continue to add more and more success stories. So if you're out there today and you want to change your life, you want to give yourself an incredible gift, you want a life-changing experience, you want to learn how to start and grow a company, go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go there right now, thrivetimeshow.com. Request a ticket for the 2-day interactive event. Again, the day here is March 6th and 7th. March 6th and 7th, we just got confirmation. Robert Kiyosaki, best-selling author, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he'll be here. Eric Trump, the man who leads the Trump organization. It's going to be a blasty blast. There's no upsells. Aaron, I could not be more excited about this event.
I think it is incredible. And there's somebody out there right now, you're watching and you're like, but I already signed up for this incredible other program called Smoke Your Way to Thin. You think that's going to change your life? I promise you this will be 10 times better than that.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
Now, don't do the Smoke Your Way to Thin conference. That is, I've tried it. Don't do it.
Yeah, chain smoking is not a viable. I mean, it is life changing. It is life changing. If you become a chain smoker, it is life changing.
Not the best weight loss program, though.
Right? Really. So if you're looking to have life changing results in a way that won't cause you to have a stoma, get your tickets at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's Aaron Antis. I'm Clay Clark, and reminding you and inviting you to come out to the 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show workshop right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I promise you it will be a life-changing experience. We can't wait to see you right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.